I just landed in Sarasota, so this is where the Forge headquarters is. So I am in prep, I'm 2 weeks out. So what we're gonna do today is take you through a full day of eating, what it's like to be on prep, what it's like to travel on prep, all that goes into it, all little baggies and all sorts of little stuff. So there's a whole lot that goes into a prep, just being at home, let alone trying to travel on it too. So we're gonna take you through that, as well as we're gonna go grocery shopping. So I did pack a little bit of food as an emergency. However, I always fly in and then go grocery shopping at a local place, make sure all my food's fresh so that way I don't get, some kind of stomach illness or something like that. Basically show you what's from start to finish, what a day in prep is gonna look like, whether you're at home or traveling. So in this case, we're traveling. So right now, fasted cardio, got 45 minutes, not gonna be crazy, not going too hard, just keeping the heart rate right around 120 or 130, focusing on just contracting my glutes the entire time. Basically, I'm hitting the treadmill. Normally I would be on the stairs, not too crazy high, but just enough to, still be burning fat. I usually put the incline between 7 and 10, focusing on squeezing the glutes every step rather than just walking. My heartbeat's pretty low, so I gotta, keep that incline up pretty high too. I don't wanna have it too high to where I'm burning muscle, so there's like a fine line when you're this close to a show. I'm pretty lean, my body fat's pretty low, so I don't wanna go too high. All right, so we just finished up fasted cardio. Got to get the first meal in. It's 11:30 right now, so a little behind schedule, but that's okay. First meal, I got some whole eggs, I got some steak. This was always prep some food before you leave. Very, very important. So we are gonna do a full shop later, but when you grab some fresh eggs right now, I got some steak that I cooked up before I left. We got cream of rice. So I use rice and grinds. So this is the coconut cream pie flavored. Just makes prep a little bit easier when you have some flavor. So let's get after it. And I'm a big fan of Pam, so if Pam's out there looking for a sponsor, you can tell me. So I always use the olive oil one or the butter flavored one. So they say not to cook with olive oil on high heat, but it's all right. All right, so measure out the steak. I got 6 ounces of steak. Don't worry, my hands are clean. 6, right on the dot, perfect. Just throw that in the pan. So I'm doing whole eggs right now, try to get some good fats, and I always personally buy Eggland's Best. It's like an omega egg. So they feed the chicken special feed of like flax seeds and all sorts of good stuff. So that way the eggs have higher levels of omega, B vitamins, selenium, which is super important for a good metabolism. So the yolk's gonna be where all the good stuff is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, got 5 in there. So when we go to the store later, I always eat spinach with this too. It's gonna help with digestion. Just missed the spinach on this one, that's okay. We'll make up for it later. Turn it over to grams, make sure it's zeroed. Scoop her in here. So I gotta do 52 grams. Trick with cream of rice, add a lot of water. A lot of people get chunky cream of rice. Just add extra water, about 4 minutes, that'll do, and that'll be perfect. All right, so last thing I'm gonna do is add my blueberries. So I pre-measured these. I got 100 grams of blueberries in here. I like frozen blueberries the best because I don't know, they just taste sweeter. But yeah, I want every damn blueberry, trust me. All right, so this is basically what breakfast is gonna be. All right, so getting in meal 2. Not a whole lot going on. I got 6 ounces of chicken. Gonna get a little bit of green beans, but no more carbs, so. All right guys, so gonna do some grocery shopping now. Basically show you what I'm eating at 2 weeks out and basically what you should look for and try to stay away from in the grocery store, so. Like, who would want all these delicious cakes and carrot cakes? Like, not me. I'd probably open up my meal plan like 100 times a day. All right, so I got some baby spinach. I like this because it just tastes the best when you're throwing it in the pan in the morning with eggs, a little bit of garlic. All right, here's 4. 4-pack. All right, perfect. All right, so I got some blueberries here. I try to go organic or frozen organic because it's gonna have a little bit less pesticides. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Are you gonna have oranges? All right, we got bananas, we got blueberries, we got these. We need to get string beans. So, just some string beans, organic string beans. I don't know. Try to keep it healthy. And then some asparagus. I'm doing like 5 spears. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Are you having asparagus too? I'm gonna get 2 packs. Probably. Yeah, let's get 2 packs. I'm trying to get some ground turkey.
They have that one.
Turkey breast, 99% lean. I get like a little more than 1 meal per pound. All right, so I'm obviously looking for the leanest one, but I'm also looking for a decent price. Those are cheap, but they're super tough and they taste like crap when you cook them. So you go these, they're still thick cut, but also not $30 a pound. So 10 bucks a pound is enough for me and for Andrew to have a few meals here. Got the vegetables, produce, protein. I'm really not eating a whole lot of carbs, but I already got that back home with cream of rice, but I need eggs. So Eggland's Best, I'm gonna get an 18 pack of these. Check them out. Nope. 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday, a couple extra. I'll do the cheapo eggs right here for my egg whites because I'm only eating egg whites, so I'm not really worried about what. So it sounds like a chicken's in there. All right, cool. All right, so I pretty much have everything I need. I got my egg whites. I'm having about 12 of those a day. I got my whole eggs. I'm having 5 of those a day. Chicken, I'm doing about 6 ounces a day, plus Andrew's gonna probably have some as well. I've got my steak, I'm having 12 ounces of that a day. I got all my greens, bananas, oranges, blueberries. Last thing, I just need a couple things to make it taste good. I think I'm gonna end up just going with spring water for the rest of the time, just to keep it simple. 2 gallons I already got for today, Saturday, Sunday, so I'm gonna get 4 gallons. These new McCormick ones. I usually like this one, this salt-free one. It's pretty good, but cannot pass up good old-fashioned Chipotle Mrs. Dash. I'm gonna get this one. I'm gonna get the onion and herb. Actually, garlic and herb. Yeah, for the steak. All right, so I'm gonna get some sauces. So I'm gonna keep it pretty simple and get some mustard. The sweet and spicy one is pretty damn good. It's really good on sandwiches, which I'm not having. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm sorry, fucking laughing halfway. All right, so the last 2 things I'm gonna be using for the last 2 weeks is mustard and hot sauce. So I'm gonna get this one because it has a little bit better flavor than regular yellow mustard. Almost like no calories, so the only calories are gonna come from the peppers that are in there. And then the last thing is hot sauce. Also, I'm not gonna use this, but this shit is fucking awesome. The sugar-free sweet chili, amazing. But one of them has a lot of calories, but this one's 0 calorie. Buy one, get one free. You take that. I think we're good. So I'm gonna show you a couple other things that I really like to have in other parts of my diet. So in the beginning, I really like sandwich spreads. Throw them in the white rice and everything, just gives a little color, makes you eat a little bit more, especially if you're trying to grow and you don't want to really like add calories. I'll do sugar-free relishes, so ones that are natural, because you can have pickles on your diet as long as there's not a bunch of sugar added to it. And on that note, one of the only things that I would ever have or tell my clients that they can have in their diet is pickles. So just plain old pickles, there's no extra sugar. I really like Bubbies, but they're probably either refrigerated here or at Whole Foods. So, but yeah, other than that, for the most part in your diet, you can have sugar-free sauces, you can have most of the seasonings and everything. We're just getting a little bit more strict the last 2 weeks. I just like keeping it simple, especially if I'm gonna be on the road anyway. I don't need to buy 100 different things. I just know what I like and get that. Let's go see how much it costs. I'm thinking, what do you think? 120 bucks?
Yeah.
All right, so
how many days?
For the rest of Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, because I'm gonna bring the food back with me, pack a little bit in the Tupperwares. But in all honesty, like if I were to just take my girl out on a date, we'd probably spend $120 or $150 on some good steak, and I cook better than most of these steak restaurants around here. So, just saying. Yo, these crazy bastards have a Reese's ice cream cake. Like that's disgusting. Who would even want that, right?
Hate it.
Something other than water. Green tea. It's got 0 calories. There's like no room in the back, and then there's no room in the trunk because the roof goes in there. So we'll see what we got.
Priorities.
I don't want to crush all the food. Is it $133?
Yeah.
Just to walk through everything that we got for the next few days. My first meal, I'm doing steak with whole eggs, so that's what the Eggland's Best is for. And I'm doing a second meal of steak as my meal number 3, which I'm about to eat right now. Meal number 2 is gonna be ground turkey, so I got the 99% lean. So I got one of those per day, probably like that much of one of these steak things per day, because each one's a little bit more than a pound, like 1.25 pounds. Greens, I got spinach for breakfast. I got green beans for the middle meals and asparagus for the last meal. Natural diuretic, really good. I got blueberries with my cream of rice, which I didn't just have to buy cream of rice because I brought enough down with me, and I use that rice and grinds, or I use Bowl of Gaines flavored cream of rice. Those are my favorite. Frank's Red Hot, I didn't need to, but it was bound gluten free, so only count that I bought one. Seasonings, Mrs. Dash, is completely salt-free. You know, they're probably a few bucks, but it's worth it because they taste really good. Yeah, they're salt-free, so I can just measure all my salt, which I bring my salt down with me as well. Mustard, now, yes, this does have some calories, but there's a difference between something that has like 5 ingredients with 10 calories versus something that has 35 or 50 ingredients with 10 calories. I'm not even sure where the calories are coming from in those. I know for a fact they're coming from the peppers in here. There's literally peppers, vinegar, mustard seed, salt. Last couple things of fruit. So I got some bananas for post-workout, oranges for one of my meal, just a little bit of cooking spray. I got 4 more waters with that too, and I got some green tea, some 0-calorie diet green tea. Yeah, so not too bad. As much as one decent date at a decent restaurant for the entire weekend, for a 4-day weekend, not bad. Meal 1 went perfectly. Meal 2, chicken breast, or my turkey breast, green beans, orange, and then my last meal, or not my next meal, I mean, is gonna be steak and green beans, so can't wait. They say not to microwave your food, but I don't give a shit. Make things easier. For the most part, I do buy a lot of frozen vegetables. It's freaking easy, there's nothing added on them. They're just plain old frozen vegetables. Are $1 or $2 a piece. When I get very close, I tend to buy more fresh stuff. Make your prep easier by getting stuff that's easier to cook. I'll spend the extra 25 cents on a sweet potato that's already wrapped, so I can just throw it in the microwave for 5 or 6 minutes, rather than having to like poke holes in it and then do all this, like literally just that extra 1 minute added up for how many times during the week, how many times during the months, it just adds up, and you're just spending hours and hours and hours on stuff that you don't need to do. Now, it doesn't mean I'm lazy. I still spend my time to make my food taste good, but not spend my time on meaningless tasks. Make some fresh steak, all right? So I gotta figure out how to use everything that I'm not used to here. And this is where I usually make a mess. And I am very liberal with the amount of seasoning that I put on my steaks, because why not? There's no calories. There's no reason to diet on shitty tasting food. That should be hot by now. I want to make sure that's like really hot before I put the steak in there, so that way it gets a good sear. All right, so that's gonna be nice and hot. And the best part is when you spill some of the seasoning on the regular pan and then just start smoking, and then the fire alarm goes off, and then everyone in your building has to go outside. But you gotta taste the steak, so we're not going outside. Throw your steak in the pan, slice it up again, throw it back in the pan with your seasoning. So I'll usually do garlic, onion powder, salt and pepper. I'll throw that in there with my string beans and or like stir-fry vegetables. Get it all crispy, and then put a little bit of Bragg's aminos or coconut aminos on there, and it turns out absolutely phenomenal. If you want to make it even more special, then you can add that G. Hughes Thai chili sauce on it too, but the way it was before is plenty. All right, so I'm just portioning out my steak, and I like to do my steak like this sometimes. This knife is gonna be horrible, but we're gonna do our best. Yes, I cook my steak super rare. Red meat's supposed to be red, it's not supposed to be gray. You're only cooking the outside to get rid of bacteria. You wanna get rid of all those great proteins. 0 that. 6.4, oh, 6.1's fine.
How much do you eat?
6. I sometimes get stressed out about minute details, but that's not the kind of stuff that's gonna make me 3.7% body fat or 3.6, because that I had 0.1 ounces of steak more. All right, so I have about 70 grams of string beans per meal. 70, perfect. I'm just gonna take this stem off here, throw that in there. Mix it all up nice. Boom. Yeah, I don't get a lot of carbs, but at least I got a little bit of steak. Tastes good, and I'm not complaining. So basically, we did the full day of eating so far, and my last meal was the steak and the string beans. That was at about 5:30. It's about 7:20 right now, so I always give myself plenty of time to digest and rest. In all honesty, I was just feeling pretty tired today, so I always give myself at least an hour before I take my pre-workout. This time I give myself like an hour and a half.